Welcome to the channel. If you enjoy this content, please consider commenting what you liked, and what could be improved upon. Now, on to our story. The Journals of James Whitmore. The house felt too quiet now. Eleanor Whitmore moved through the rooms like a ghost, her fingers trailing over the back of the couch, the edge of the kitchen counter, places James had once occupied with his warm laughter and steady presence. The funeral had been 3 days ago, and though friends and family had lingered with casseroles and condolences, they had all gone home now. It was just her, the empty house, and the memories. She stood in front of the old oak bookshelf in the study, the one James had built himself years ago. It was time to start packing things away, to decide what to keep and what to let go. Her hands trembled as she pulled down a stack of dusty notebooks tucked in the back, hidden behind volumes of history books and atlases. She recognized them instantly. James had always been a writer, scribbling in these journals whenever he had a quiet moment. She had never read them, had always assumed they were just notes for work or random musings. But as she flipped open the first one, dated March 1998, her breath caught. March 14, 1998. I met her today. Eleanor Dawson. A friend of Sarah's, who insisted we'd get along. I wasn't sure, blind dates always feel like a gamble. But the moment she walked into that little cafe, in that blue dress with her hair half pinned up, I knew I was in trouble. She laughed at my terrible joke about the waiter's mustache, and I swear, I wanted to make her laugh for the rest of my life. Eleanor's vision blurred. She remembered that day, the nervous flutter in her stomach, the way James had leaned in just slightly when she spoke, as if every word mattered. She had no idea he'd written about it. She turned the page. April 2, 1998. We've been out 3 times now. I think I'm falling in love with her. Is that insane? It's only been weeks. But she's different. She listens like she's memorizing me. And when she smiles, it's like the whole damn world brightens. I don't know if she feels the same, but I'm going to find out. A tear slipped down Eleanor's cheek. She had felt the same. She had just been too afraid to say it then. She kept reading, page after page, year after year. Their first fight. The night he proposed. The way he felt like he had let her down every passing month that they failed to conceive. The ordinary moments he had turned into poetry, her humming in the kitchen, the way she always stole the blankets, the quiet strength she showed when her father passed. The last entry in the first journal was dated December 31, 1999. I'm going to marry her next year. I don't know how I got this lucky. If I'm ever gone before her, I hope she knows, every day with her has been the best day of my life. Eleanor clutched the journal to her chest, her heart aching. There were more notebooks on the shelf. Dozens of them. 20 years of marriage, of love, of a life built together, all waiting for her to discover. She wasn't ready to read them all yet. But she would. One by one. For now, she held the first journal close and whispered, I know, James. I know. And for the first time since the funeral, she didn't feel quite so alone. 2000 through 2005. Eleanor sat in the dim glow of the study lamp, the second journal open in her lap. This one was thicker, its pages yellowed at the edges, the leather cover worn from years of handling. The spine cracked slightly as she turned to the first entry, January 1, 2000. We're getting married this year. I still can't believe she said yes. Eleanor Dawson, soon to be Eleanor Whitmore. I don't deserve her, but I'll spend every day trying to. She smiled, tracing the faded ink with her fingertips. Their wedding had been small, intimate. James had cried during his vows. She had teased him about it for years. But as she read further, flipping through pages of early marriage and house hunting, something gnawed at her. A faint unease. Then she reached October 12, 2003. I came home early today. Eleanor didn't expect me. She was on the phone, voice low, laughing in that way she does when she's flustered. When she saw me, she hung up too quickly. "Wrong number," she said. But her cheeks were pink. Maybe I'm imagining things. Maybe I'm just tired. Eleanor's stomach twisted. She remembered that day. It hadn't been a wrong number. She turned the page, her pulse quickening. March 8, 2004. She's been distant lately. Working late. Smiling at her phone when she thinks I'm not looking. I asked her about it last night. She said it was just stress, that things at the office were hectic. But her eyes flickered away when she said it. I kissed her forehead and told her I loved her. She didn't say it back. A cold weight settled in Eleanor's chest. She had been careless. She had thought James was oblivious, too wrapped up in his own work to notice. But he had noticed. He just hadn't said anything. She flipped forward, her fingers trembling. August 22, 2005. I followed her today. I told myself I wouldn't. That I was being paranoid. But when she said she was meeting Sarah for lunch and then drove in the opposite direction, I had to know. I saw her. With him. Some guy in a suit, holding her hand across the table. She was smiling, the same smile she used to give me. I left before she saw me. I don't know what to do. Do I confront her? Do I pretend I don't know? Maybe if I love her enough, she'll remember who we're supposed to be. Eleanor's breath came in shallow gasps. She had never known. All these years, she had assumed her affair was a secret, buried in the past. But James had known. And he had stayed silent. She reached for the next journal, 2006. Her hands shook as she opened it. What else had he written? What else had he known? 2006 through 2011. Eleanor's hands trembled as she opened the next journal, 2006. The pages felt heavier, the ink darker, as if James had pressed the pen down with more force. March 15, 2006. I asked Eleanor if she wanted to take a trip, just the two of us. Somewhere warm. Maybe the Caribbean. She used to love the ocean. But she said no. Too much work. Too expensive. She didn't even look up from her phone when she said it. I poured a drink after she went to bed. I don't know when that became a habit. Eleanor's chest tightened. She had been distant. She had been too wrapped up in him, Mark, her affair partner, to even consider James's attempts to fix things. September 3, 2006. We talked about kids today. Really talked about it, for the first time in years. She seemed hesitant, but I thought, maybe this could bring us back together. Maybe if we had a family, she'd remember what we used to be. We went to the doctor last week. Tests. More tests. Then the news, infertility. Unexplained. Eleanor cried in the car. I held her, told her it didn't matter, that we could adopt, that we still had each other. She just stared out the window. Tonight, she said she was going out with friends. I know she's not with them. She's with him. Eleanor's throat burned. She remembered that night. She had gone to Mark. He had held her, told her it would be okay, that they could have their own family one day. And she had believed him. January 8, 2007. I found his name today. Mark Reynolds. Works in finance. Divorced. Of course. I don't know what I expected, some kind of monster. But he's just a man. Average. Unremarkable. And yet, he has the one thing I can't seem to hold on to anymore. I drank too much tonight. Again. June 17, 2008. Technology is a dangerous thing. A few clicks, and I know everything. Emails. Texts. Hotel receipts. I could track her if I wanted to. I could see every lie, every time she slipped away to be with him. But what's the point? Knowing won't change it. I keep waiting for her to end it. To choose me. But she doesn't. Eleanor's breath hitched. She had thought she was so careful. But James had known everything. November 5, 2009. She came home late tonight. Smiling. That secret, guilty smile she thinks I don't recognize. She kissed my cheek, asked about my day, like nothing was wrong. I wanted to scream. I wanted to throw my glass against the wall and demand the truth. But I didn't. I just poured another drink and said, it was fine. February 14, 2011. 5 years. 5 years of this. I don't know why I still write in this damn journal. Maybe because it's the only place I can say it out loud, I'm losing her. Or maybe I've already lost her. She's not even trying to hide it anymore. She thinks I'm blind. Or maybe she just doesn't care. I could leave. I should leave. But God help me, I still love her. Eleanor shut the journal, tears streaming down her face. She had been selfish. Cruel. And James had known, all of it. And yet, he had stayed. She reached for the next journal, 2012. What else had she done? What else had he endured? The weight of her betrayal pressed down on her, suffocating. But she had to keep reading. 2012 through 2016. Eleanor's fingers hovered over the next journal, 2012. The cover was worn, the edges frayed, as if James had carried it with him everywhere. She took a deep breath and opened it. April 3, 2012. I followed him today. Mark. Got off work early, parked near his office. I told myself I wouldn't do it, but I had to see. He walked out at 5:30, laughing with his colleagues. Then he got into his car and drove, not home, not to meet Eleanor, but to a cafe. A woman was waiting for him. Young. Blonde. Pretty. She kissed him when he sat down. I should have felt vindicated. Proof that he's just as much a liar as she is. But instead, I felt rage. Because if he's doing this to her, then he's hurting her. And as much as I hate what she's done to me, I don't want her to feel this pain. That's when I realized, the only reason I haven't left, haven't cheated, haven't thrown it all in her face, is because I love her too much to make her feel what I feel every day. Eleanor's hands shook. She had never known about the other woman. Mark had sworn he was only with her. How many lies had she believed? September 9, 2013. Eleanor came home late again. She smelled like him, his cologne, that stupid expensive brand he wears. She pretended to be tired, went straight to the shower. I sat on the bed, listening to the water run, and wondered if she ever thinks about how easy it would be for me to walk out. If she even cares. I poured a drink. Then another. The bottle's half empty now. I don't know when I started needing it just to sleep. June 18, 2014. She was happy today. Really happy. Humming in the kitchen, making coffee. I knew why. She'd seen him yesterday. I didn't ask. I never ask. The worst part. I was glad she was happy. Even if it wasn't because of me. January 22, 2015. The pain is back. Sharp. Low in my abdomen, like a knife twisting. It comes and goes. Stress, probably. Or the drinking. I should see a doctor. But what's the point? It's not like Eleanor would notice if I dropped dead tomorrow. Eleanor's breath caught. Pain. James had never mentioned being sick. Had he gone to a doctor? She flipped ahead, heart pounding. November 30th, 2016. It's getting worse. The pain. I saw them together today, Eleanor and Mark. In his car, parked near the park where we used to walk. She was laughing. He touched her face. And then, the pain hit me so hard I had to pull over. Like my body was finally punishing me for all the things I've refused to say. I sat there, gripping the steering wheel, sweating through my shirt, and I thought, this is how it ends. Not with a fight. Not with her choosing me. Just silence. And pain. Maybe I deserve it. Eleanor slammed the journal shut, gasping for air. Tears blurred her vision. All these years, she had been so wrapped up in her own guilt, her own selfishness, that she hadn't seen what it was doing to him. And now he was gone. She reached for the next journal, 2017. Had he seen a doctor? Had he ever told anyone? Her hands trembled as she opened it. She had to know. No matter how much it hurt. 2017 through 2020. Eleanor wiped her tears away with the back of her hand, steeling herself before opening the 2017 journal. The pages smelled faintly of antiseptic, as if James had written in it during long nights in hospital rooms. March 14, 2017. I don't follow them anymore. Every time I do, the pain is worse. It's like my body is screaming at me to stop watching, to stop caring. But I can't. Today, though, I broke my own rule. I saw them at that little Italian place downtown. They were arguing. Mark said something, I couldn't hear what, and Eleanor exploded. She was crying, her hands shaking, her face red. I'd never seen her like that before. Not even with me. And then the pain hit. Not just in my gut this time, my whole body seized. I remember gripping the car door, gasping, and then, nothing. I woke up in a hospital bed. Eleanor was asleep in the chair beside me, her makeup smudged, her hair a mess. She must have come straight here. For a second, I let myself pretend she still loved me. The doctor said a stranger found me, called an ambulance. Whoever they were, they saved my life. I wish I could thank them. Then the doctor told me the rest. An ulcer, sure, but also liver cancer. Early stages, but aggressive. Years of whiskey and sleepless nights, I guess. Eleanor wasn't in the room when they told me. Small mercies. The last thing she needs is to feel guilty. She's carried enough guilt for both of us. When she came back, I lied. Told her it was just stress, just an ulcer. That it'd go away if I cut back on coffee and retired early. She nodded, relieved. She didn't ask any more questions. I wonder if she would have stayed if she knew the truth. August 5, 2018. I started treatment. Quietly. Told Eleanor it was just routine checkups. She doesn't notice the pills, the fatigue, the way my hands shake now. Or if she does, she doesn't say anything. Mark is still in the picture. I don't know what their fight was about, but she still sees him. Less often, though. Sometimes she comes home early. Sometimes she even sits with me, asks about my day. It's almost like old times. Almost. December 24, 2019. Christmas Eve. Eleanor made dinner. Actually made it, not takeout, not a half-hearted attempt. Roast chicken, mashed potatoes, the way I like them. She even lit candles. For a moment, I let myself hope. Maybe she's finally ending things with Mark. Maybe she's coming back to me. Then her phone buzzed. She glanced at it, that old flicker in her eyes, and excused herself to the bathroom. When she came back, her smile was forced. I didn't say anything. Just ate my dinner and pretended not to see the way her fingers lingered over her phone. February 3, 2020. The cancer's spreading. The doctors say I have months, maybe a year if I'm lucky. I haven't told Eleanor. What's the point? She'd either stay out of guilt or leave because she can't handle it. I don't want either. I thought about writing her a letter. Telling her everything, how much I loved her, how much it hurt, how I forgave her anyway. But I don't know if forgiveness is what she needs. Maybe she just needs to be free. So I'll keep lying. Keep pretending. And when the time comes, I'll let her go without ever knowing how much I knew. Eleanor's tears fell onto the page, smudging the ink. She had been so blind. So selfish. All these years, he had loved her, truly loved her, enough to bear the weight of her betrayal in silence. And now he was gone. She reached for the final journal, 2020. The last one. The one that would take her to the end. Her hands shook as she opened it. She wasn't ready. But she had to know. The final journal of James Whitmore, 2020. Eleanor's breath was shallow as she opened the last journal, the final pages of James's life. The leather binding felt fragile in her hands, as if it might crumble like the man who had written in it. March 15, 2020. I've stopped treatment. No more chemo, no more false hope. The doctors say it's reckless, but what's the point? Buying a few extra months of pain. So I can watch Eleanor pretend she doesn't see me wasting away. Either way, I'll be gone soon, and she can finally be happy with the one she truly loves in the open. There's a life insurance policy she doesn't know about. A big one. I set it up years ago, back when I still thought we might grow old together. At least now it'll mean something, she'll be taken care of when I'm gone. May 2, 2020. I updated my will today. Funny, I had a separate savings account, money I'd tucked away over the years. At first, I told myself it was for an emergency. Then, later, I wondered if I'd ever use it to leave her. Start over somewhere far away. But I never could. Even now, knowing everything, I still can't imagine walking out that door for good. The money will go to her, of course. Along with the house, the investments, everything. Let her be happy, even if it's with him. July 19, 2020. The pain is constant now. Some days, it's hard to write. Hard to think. But I need to get this down, just in case. Eleanor's been different lately. Quieter. She sits with me more. Holds my hand. Sometimes, I catch her watching me with an expression I can't place, guilt, grief, or just pity. I don't know if she suspects the truth. I hope not. I don't want her last memories of me to be stained with regret. September 8, 2020. This might be the last time I write in this journal. I don't know if I'll have the strength to pull it from its hiding place again. Part of me hopes Eleanor never finds these. If she reads them, if she knows how much I knew, how long I carried it, it would destroy her. And despite everything, I don't want that for her. I loved her. I loved her even when it broke me. Maybe that's the truest thing I've ever written. Goodbye, Ellie. Eleanor's hands trembled violently as she closed the journal. A sob tore from her chest, raw and anguished. He had known. All of it. And yet, even in his final days, his only thought had been to spare her pain. She looked around the study, their study, now filled with the ghosts of his quiet suffering. The books he'd loved, the chair he'd sat in, the faint scent of his cologne still lingering in the air. And then she saw it. A small, locked box on the top shelf, one she had never noticed before. Her heart pounded as she reached for it. Inside, she found the life insurance policy, the updated will, bank statements for the secret account. And beneath them all, a single, unmarked envelope. With shaking hands, she opened it. A letter. The last words James had left for her. The letter. Eleanor's fingers traced the edge of the unmarked envelope, her breath shallow. The paper felt heavy, as if weighted with the words inside. She hesitated, should she read it now? But James had intended for her to receive this after the will was read. He had planned this, right down to the timing. Swallowing hard, she carefully placed the letter back in the locked box along with the other documents. She would wait. The lawyer's office was quiet, sterile. Eleanor sat stiffly in a leather chair, her hands folded in her lap, while James' attorney, Mr. Graves, adjusted his glasses and began reading. I, James Robert Whitmore, being of sound mind. The words blurred together until one directive struck her like a physical blow. My personal study, including all books, papers, and furnishings, is to be packed by the designated company and destroyed in its entirety. No items are to be preserved. Eleanor's stomach lurched. The journals. He had arranged for them to be erased, as if they had never existed. Mr. Graves continued, unflinching. The property at 2147 Willow Lane is to be sold, with all proceeds going to my wife, Eleanor Whitmore. Upon the sale, she will also receive full access to my private savings, totaling approximately $3.2 million. A pause. Then. However, if Eleanor chooses not to sell the home, she will only receive the life insurance payout previously designated. The savings will instead be divided equally among the following charities. Eleanor's pulse roared in her ears. James had given her a choice. Stay in the house filled with memories, with guilt, with the ghost of his pain, and walk away with only the insurance money. Or let it go, and be free. And with it, the journals, his truth, would vanish forever. That night, the study. Eleanor stood in the doorway of James' study, her eyes sweeping over the shelves, the desk, the hidden box she had tucked back into place. The movers would arrive in 2 days. Everything would be gone. Her gaze landed on the stack of journals, their story, his suffering, his love. The words he never wanted her to see. She reached for the first one, the one from 1998, and clutched it to her chest. Then, slowly, she took the rest. The letter opened at last. Alone in the bedroom they had once shared, Eleanor finally unfolded James' last words to her. My dearest Eleanor. If you're reading this, then the will has been read, and you know what I've left you. But more importantly, you know what I've asked you to let go. I hope you sell the house. I hope you take that money and build a life that makes you happy, whether that's with someone else or on your own. You deserve peace, Ellie. More than I could ever give you. I'm sorry we never had children. I'm sorry for all the ways I failed you. But most of all, I'm sorry if you ever felt unloved. Even when it hurt, even when I didn't understand, I loved you. Every day. Please don't mourn me too long. Live, be happy. That's all I ever wanted for you. Always yours. James. This concludes our story. If you enjoyed this content, please consider hitting the subscribe button, like the video, and leave a comment below.